Good morning. Hope everyone is great and looking forward to the weekend. The topic today is life insurance with living benefits. I've been wanting to do this for a while, probably for my own benefit to just review everything and make sure I understood it. But I put together a good presentation today. National Life is one of our vendors, and they're known for having probably one of the best suites of living benefits. And so I used most of their slides for this presentation, and I've added some others too. But let's get started with this. A little bit about National Life. Wink is an industry analyzer, and back last year, September, they named National Life Group the #1 in index life sales for the past 10 quarters since the beginning of 2021. And a little further down in that news release, we've got LIMRA, the industry trade group that placed National Life as the high in the sales of index universal life. I believe the major reason they are the leader is because of these living benefits. Here's a post I found on, I'm not sure if it was on LinkedIn or one of the other social medias, but that they were tooting their horn that were their #1 in sales. But they're an excellent company, and this is one of the major strong suits, their living benefits. So, are you old school or new school? You know, when we think about life insurance, we think pretty much, I think most of us think pretty old school. This is for if we die too soon. But living benefits today and life insurance today is different. It's the electric car. It pays if you live too long, it pays if you become ill. And we're going to review those becoming ill items well today. Yesterday, I spent a lot of the day, or quite a bit of the day, working on another webinar called The Building Blocks of Kaizen. And some of the PowerPoints that I made yesterday, I thought pertain today, and I think you'll find interesting. This building block #3, technology and product development. The advancement in computer technology has significantly influenced the insurance industry in several ways, leading to various innovations and improvements in product development. Computer modeling, simulation tools have facilitated the development of new life insurance products and riders. Insurers can use these tools to analyze markets, performance, risk factors, allowing them to tailor products to meet consumer needs. How about you? Do you remember when we didn't have cell phones? Do you remember that brick that we see on the left? There's the evolution of the mobile phone. 80s and 90s, bulky, limited functionality, primarily used for calls. I didn't have one of those bricks. Probably you didn't either. I had a friend who worked for a city, and the city gave him this brick cell phone, and he was pretty proud of it, and he used it a lot. Well, there we are. Then we got Nokia and the rise of cell phones in the 90s and 2000s, then smartphones in 2007, and shoot, who doesn't use a cell phone today? I guess there's some, but probably not many. Here's another evolution you might find interesting. GPS. Do you remember using maps? Oh, wow. Going on vacations, traveling around, finding it when you missed the road. And then there came Garmin and GPS devices. That Garmin over the right, my kids gave me a Garmin, and I put it on the dashboard. I thought this is a cool innovation. In fact, Barbara and I were on a vacation or a trip. Well, I guess it was probably a business trip vacation in Nashville, Tennessee. And we rented one of these Garmins for our rental car. And that was the first time we'd ever used anything like this. And we were just, wow, this is great. Well, I don't put that Garmin in my car anymore. Now I have my phone. So we've had since 2008 with the rise of GPS navigation apps, Google Maps, Apple Maps. Wow, I use them all the time. I don't want to get into a red zone. So even if I know where I'm going, I use GPS. You probably do too. Well, we've advanced in society with these technology things, and insurance has too. Here's a timeline I put together. Whole life insurance sold by Mutual Life Insurance Company of New York, now AXA Equitable Life Insurance, in 1868. And the black is insurance items, and the red is technology. I think the microprocessor really started things popping. And then we have the Apple I computer, we got the IBM personal computer, 1981, and then comes an introduction of universal life insurance by E.F. Hutton. I owned an E.F. Hutton universal life. I worked for E.F. Hutton back then. This gave flexibility to life insurance. Then in the 80s is when living benefits started to be brought into these policies. And there's further developments, which this other webinar will go over. But today's life insurance is not your grandmother's policy. It's much better. So back to a national life PowerPoint. Breaking down life's financial puzzle. How can I take care of my family business when I'm gone? That's why we've always bought life insurance. How will I cover medical and living expenses becoming ill? That's what we're going to cover today in all the different riders that National has. What if my retirement assets run out? That's the third part of the puzzle. That's what Kaizen really does extremely well. So I was in a webinar last week with the founder of Kaizen. They're called NIW. There's their logo in the upper corner. And this is one of their PowerPoints, rethinking the norm, rethinking how we offer solutions for tax recovery, filling retirement gap. That's where Kaizen comes in, enhancing protection. That's where these living benefits comes in. Transferring wealth, Kaizen does a great job there. Recruit and retrain, Kaizen again. Insurance can be used for much more than just life insurance, period, the dying. So permanent life insurance, we have the die too soon, death benefit protection, we have live too long, and National has a rider, cash value accumulation lifetime income rider, benefit rider, they call LIBR. We're not going to cover that today, but we actually, in our Kaizen design, we add this feature to every Kaizen, along with everything else we add. And then last, accelerated living benefits, which we're going to cover today in depth. So where will the money come from to provide survivor benefits? This is the life insurance. What if my retirement assets run out? This is the Kaizen. What will I use for financial resources if I get seriously sick or injured? Well, modern life insurance policies provide these living benefits, and I think you'll find them as you understand the details. They're amazing. So 6 in 10 Americans live with at least one chronic disease. Approximately 39.5% of men and women will develop cancer in their lifetime. A stroke occurs every 40 seconds in the US. 6.5 million or more people are estimated to be living with Alzheimer's dementia. These are the realities of life, and we don't know what's coming. We don't know where our health is going to be. I don't know where my health is going to be. Certainly, we try to live right and eat well and do what we can to be healthy. But we can't always count on those things. So these are the 5 accelerated benefits, ABRs they call them, that National offers. We're going to cover these 5: terminal illness, chronic illness, Alzheimer's disease, critical illness, critical injury. They call them accelerated benefit riders because we have a death benefit, and this is their way of accelerating those benefits. A year ago, National had a news release. The companies of National Life are expanding their suite of living benefits, adding Alzheimer's disease. These expansions have the potential to support many, as more than 6.5 million Americans are estimated to be living with Alzheimer's. This is something they added a year ago, continuing to improve their offerings. So, how do these ABRs work? Once you meet the eligibility to accelerate your death benefit, there are no restrictions on how you use the ABRs, accelerated benefits, and may be used for any purpose, including but not limited to medical expenses, home renovations, additional care, business expenses. We're going to try to go over the details of this, but it's an accelerated benefit. The first one, I think this is the one a lot of us are concerned about: chronic illness. What is this? This is the long-term care need. So long-term care, activities of daily living, bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring. I added a few things to that were not on this slide, but we're not on any of their slides that I thought was important. You qualify for this rider benefit, chronic illness, if you can't perform 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living. And that's 2%. This is a kind of a monthly benefit rider. So 2% of the death benefit. If your death benefit's $1 million, then that death 2% would be $20,000 per month to cover your long-term care. This is really good. About 22, 23 years ago, I bought a long-term care policy on Barbara and myself. We did a 20 years of pay, and we paid a sizable amount every year. And it's paid up. We have long-term care. If we cannot perform any of those 2 or 6 items, we can have home health care for a nurse come in to help us, or we can go to an assisted living center. Is covered. Those policies are virtually not sold today, or very few. The insurance companies couldn't afford to offer them. Long-term care is expensive, and it wasn't a product that they could make a profit on. I have those policies. I'm happy that I do, but this way, with this rider, is the best way to have long-term care today. And it covers the activities of daily living and the cognitive impairment. You probably read that while we've been talking about all this other stuff. So chronic illness, I think that's the biggest one. And the other bullet point I added, National Life is not charging anything more for these riders. It's part of the policy, every policy that they issue. Critical illness and injury. I think this is the next big concern we all have. This is the disability. We don't know when we might be in a car accident and become disabled. We don't know when we're going to have a heart attack. Well, there's the list: critical illness, blindness, cancer, ALS, end-stage retinal failure, heart attack, major organ transplant, stroke. Can't hardly say some of those others, but it covers these critical illnesses and it covers critical injuries. And what does this rider do? It pays a lump sum benefit, discounted from the face value based on conditions of impairment of life expectancy. It's usually 80 or 90%, and it's a lump sum. So if your policy again is $1 million, and that's also the maximum benefit they will offer here, then you could get 800,000 and 900,000 lump up front. That would cover if you can't work. It'd cover a lot of things. And as we put where the slide back here, home renovations, medical expenses, additional care, business expenses. This is the disability part. Next, we have terminal illness. This is not a good one either, but if this happens, you're probably not working if you're terminally ill. Diagnosed with a terminal illness, expect to result in death within 24 months. No waiting period. You get that 80, 90% of the death benefit, paid as a lump sum distribution, discounted from the death benefit I mentioned. Funds can be used at your discretion, and there's a maximum benefit here of $1,500,000. That's a time of life when I guess yes, you're going to get the benefit when you die, but maybe your family, and probably certainly your family, needs some or part of it now. And that new one they added just a year ago, Alzheimer's rider. Paid as a lump sum distribution again, discounted from the death benefit like the other two, up to $1.5 million, must have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or Lewy body dementia. And I don't know these scores, but must score a 20 out of 30 on the mini mental state exam or equivalent test, and cognitive testing for diagnostics that demonstrates clinical impairment, or at least 2 of the following is required: orientation to people, places, or time, ability to learn or remember new information, attention and calculation. What's that word? Visual pathological abilities, language functions. Anyway, these are all very important. I love the long-term care. I love the critical illness. All of these make this the package that National offers. I wanted to just verify in my mind the most recent National Kaizen policy I wrote. I pulled up the policy to see what the riders were attached to this, and there they were. They had the terminal illness rider, the chronic illness, critical injury, Alzheimer's disease. I listed all the riders. All these other riders come together to offer or begin to offer the Kaizen plan, and all of them are quite important. If you asked me to explain the details of all of them right now, I probably couldn't do it. I'll have to do a webinar on those other riders. But they were added in this last, on all my Kaizen cases. So, protection for beneficiaries. This is the lump sum. This is why you bought the life insurance primarily, but also the living benefits, helping you and your budget in the event of qualifying illness and injury, diagnostics of Alzheimer's or Lewy body dementia, and potential for lifetime income. And that's what Kaizen is doing. That's the number one reason I'm using it. And I want to help people have a better retirement. And I also love having those living benefits and the death benefits. All of this is the pieces of the puzzle that everyone really needs. National has a pamphlet that I could email to you, or I can send you a hard copy. Life insurance with living benefits. Let me know in the comments and the questions area if you'd like me to send this to you. Kind of a short webinar today, but I hope you appreciate it. I think I've covered well. Again, as a reminder, the QR code takes you to a overview of Kaizen, a little bit of information if you haven't really looked at it before. Or you can give me a call, you can email me. My website is becoming more robust all the time. I like it. I think it's good. So I think anyways, looking good. Let's see, questions. I don't see any questions. I see a few people wanting to brochure. That's good. I'll send them out. That's it for today. Thanks for attending, and I'll be working on a new webinar like that one I just showed you or previewed. Have a good day. Bye.